If you're familiar with the UFC and mixed martial arts, you probably will know or have heard of ex-heavyweight champion. But if you're not familiar with Cain, I will give you a rundown. Cain's career started around 2006, and over time he would rise in the ranks and join the UFC by 2008. Cain would carve out a successful career, being known for his heavy hands. Cain won the UFC heavyweight title in 2009, knocking out Brock Lesnar, and he would go on to have multiple title defenses before he retired in 2019. But Cain's retirement wouldn't be a ride-off in the sun happy ending. In the next following years, his family would be shattered after a man named Harry Goulart took advantage of his son. Cain and his wife Michelle had 2 kids, a daughter and a son named Cain Jr., who was born in 2008, and at the time of 2022, their son was only 4 years old, and he would go to a daycare. Patty's daycare was ran by Pat Goulart and her husband. Her son Harry lived at the home daycare. This meant that Harry had access to all the kids in the daycare. Harry was first reported to Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office on February 23, 2022 by Cain and his wife. A certified child forensic interviewer and detectives determined that a crime occurred in the daycare's bathroom. Detectives were writing a police report. The child victim said the suspect told him not to tell anyone. When he was questioned, Harry told police conflicting information about how he interacted with children at Patty's daycare. At first, he told police he had no involvement with the children. Then in another statement, he said he sometimes wrestled and played with some of the kids. Then in another statement, Harry would tell the police he didn't do anything and he had no wrongdoing in the situation. On February 28, 2022, Cain would take matters into his own hands. He entered a high-speed chase in San Jose while firing his gun multiple times. Cain, armed with his gun, chased after a car that contained Harry, his stepfather, and his mother. Cain rammed their car with his own before pulling out his gun. He shot at the car trying to hit Harry, but instead he hit the man's stepfather, causing him 9 life-threatening injuries to the 63-year-old. When police later apprehended Cain, they searched his vehicle where they would find a gun loaded with 9 bullets inside a 10-round magazine, and also another 10-round magazine in his car, which only had 3 bullets in it. His phone has searches of victims of families getting revenge.
Shot of a well-known mixed martial arts champion arrested in a shooting. San Jose police arrested 2-time UFC heavyweight champion and WWE star Cain Velasquez. He's facing attempted murder charges, though police are not yet revealing a motive. Shooting happened yesterday afternoon on Bailey Avenue near Monterey Road. San Jose police say 1 man was shot and hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries.
Near Monterey and Bailey Roads yesterday in South San Jose. Police say a man shot another driver in a separate car, sending the man to the hospital. Only 1 arrest was made. Former UFC champion Cain Velasquez. The Salinas native was booked into the Santa Clara County Jail, where he is being held with no bail. The arrest is being felt throughout the UFC community.
Cain was later arrested and booked into the Santa Clara County Jail on an attempted first-degree murder charge. At Cain's first court proceeding, Cain was formally charged with 1 count of attempted first-degree murder, as well as several additional charges, including 1 count of shooting at a motor vehicle, 3 counts of assault with a firearm, 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of willfully discharging a firearm from a vehicle, and 1 count of carrying a loaded firearm with intent to commit a felony. Cain was initially denied bail after the judge said from his own words, the risk is too great for Cain to potentially cause more issues to the public.
Star Cain Velasquez denied bail again. Also, drama in and outside the courtroom, as we heard for the first time from one of the victims in that freeway shooting.
NBC Bay Area's Damian Trujillo was inside the San Jose courtroom and has today's developments.
Before announcing her ruling, the judge said that there was a basic disregard for human life on the day of the shooting. But Cain Velasquez's lawyer and supporters say the wrong person is behind bars. This is a picture of Paul Bender. His lawyer says Cain Velasquez shot him on February 28th as Velasquez chased Bender, his wife, and stepson for 7 miles.
Cain Velasquez followed this family, stalked them, and chased them at over 100 miles per hour.
Police say Velasquez fired several rounds at the moving car, part of the chase captured in this exclusive video. Court records show this was Velasquez's target, Bender's stepson, Harry Goulart. He's charged with molesting Velasquez's close family member at the Goulart's daycare center.
The family is fearful of Cain Velasquez being released.
Cain Velasquez looked away during Paul Bender's virtual testimony today. Bender told the judge, "I believe he will finish what he started. I am fearful for my..."
Cain's lawyer presented 37 letters of support for Cain from people such as Dana White, the UFC's owner, and also several fighters of the company.
Him and his family to finally be back together. Cain Velasquez is a good man. He's a good person. And I'm hoping that the judge that looks at this case says, you know what? This family suffered enough. As if the kids haven't suffered enough in this thing. They lost their father for almost a year. So yeah, hopefully the real justice gets served in this case. And Cain Velasquez, who is a good man, a good father, a good husband, gets to be at home with his family.
Like, glad he didn't do 20, 30 years. I think it's really just comes down to the fact that and this whole system's wrong. He's done his time. He's proved he's not a threat to society. He's done countless things. I've gone with him to a children's hospital to visit kids and see the joy that he brings people. He's the least amount of threat to anybody in this world. The real man that is a threat is a 45-year-old man living on the premise of a preschool. And to think that, this guy isn't convicted and he's released back to that premise, it's like everything is just so sick, and the mind will get disturbed. I don't care if he's convicted or not. He shouldn't be allowed to interact with kids on that level.
It's wrong, it is what it is, man. I get it, man. Don't go. I like it, man.
Yeah. What's your take on that? Like, do you think he should be given some leniency considering all things? Like at least like have a chance to go home.
Yeah, that's
a balance. And I think so many people, when we say free Cain and go support Cain Velasquez, it's like we are not by any means saying that what Cain Velasquez did was right. It was not right. You can't do that. What we're saying is look at the whole story, or at least the story that we have. But I can only support Cain in the way that I can, is being at every court appearance, talking to him on the phone when he calls me, trying to make sure that his mental is kind of staying together, because, I can only imagine being in jail for that long. It's hard.
After being incarcerated for 8 months, Cain was finally granted bail. Harry's case against Cain's son would later go to trial. Cain's son would have to take the stand, and he was only 5 years old by this time. Cain Jr. cried on the stand, and he told a sad account of what happened to him. He would say that Harry used his hand to assault him at the daycare. Harry did a lot more to Cain Jr., but YouTube guidelines won't allow me to say what he really did. Cain's wife Michelle will also take the stand. She testified about the night that Cain Jr. told her and Cain Sr. about Harry. Michelle will state that Cain Jr. seemed ashamed when he told his parents. She will also state that Cain Jr. stated that he wasn't the only kid that happened to.
Cain Velasquez's wife also took the stand today, recounting the moment the child told her about the alleged assault.
Your dad just told me something happened in the bathroom at school today. What happened in the bathroom?
The 5-year-old alleged victim was on the stand in the morning. The defendant's attorney claims the child's testimony was coached and inconsistent.
But Harry and his family, including his mother, will play victim and say Harry never committed the crime and it was false accusations. Harry's lawyer even tried to get the case dismissed, which wouldn't happen, but it only got pushed back and delayed.
This is extremely disappointing. It's based on an alleged allegation that has no basis. It is unfounded. We are looking for the opportunity in Harry's case to prove that.
That's not the way to do it. We cannot put the law in our own hands. So I'm awaiting trial March 24th. I've already pled guilty, so I'm going to get a sentencing March 24th. And I know what I did, and I know what I did was very dangerous to other people, not just to people involved, but to just innocent people. So I understand what I did, and I'm willing to do everything I have to pay back that.
But for Cain, it would be the opposite. On August 16th, 2024, Cain pleaded no contest to all charges. Cain's sentencing hearing was initially scheduled for October 18th, but was later pushed back to March 24th, 2025. At the March 24th sentencing hearing, Cain was sentenced to 5 years in prison and 4 years of supervised probation. With time served in county jail and under house arrest being credited, Cain will be eligible for parole in the beginning of March 2026. Many people felt like this was a terrible decision and that Cain shouldn't have to go through this, or neither should his family. many people will back Cain up. For Harry, he's still awaiting his trial, and he only faces up to 8 years for the crime that he committed. Cain is only doing time for protecting his son. Free Cain. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.